Welcome to California, Mr. Bond.
Okay, here we are. Just want to welcome our very special guest, Mr. Phil Dewhurst, illustrious past president of the British James Bond fan club and James Bond fan. So thank you. I appreciate this.
Oh, thanks for having me. An absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and you
Phil, I gotta say, I love the wild geese poster in the background.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that came with me from England. It's just one of those canvases, but I just love the artwork and I love the movie. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You're a recent transplant to Los Angeles. How is that working out so far?
I love the weather. I can say that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I don't miss the rain of England,
I'm
and
sure.
the people here are so nice. Yeah, we're having a great time expanding the product into the UK market.
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, loving it. But
Yeah,
missing my friends back in the UK and family,
sure.
of course.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I
new
remember.
adventures.
Yeah, I'm from New York, and in 2008 I moved to Los Angeles, and it was an adjustment for a bit, but I'm so into it now. It's just home now, so I know. So
And I've been here like 12 years
yeah,
and never gonna leave.
yeah,
Too many swimming pools. So
That's it. It's one of those places that I think if you get the vibe, if you like it,
hmm
you'll always like it, and you'll just not want to leave.
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Well, let's dive into you and your just. I just want to for viewers that or listeners that might not be familiar with your experience. So let me just ask you a question. How did you? Well, let's just say, can you tell people a bit about your background and how you got into James Bond?
Sure. I mean, how I got into James Bond was through my grandfather, and it's probably a similar story than all of us, a family member that
Yeah.
said, "Hey, sit down, let's watch this." He used to record them off the television in England for me. He'd even pause it when it came to the commercial breaks, so that I could get a more of a film cinematic experience. And I used to go to his in the summer and just sit down and watch James Bond with him. So, Man with the Golden Gun was the first one that I distinctly remember watching with him when I would have been maybe 7 or 8.
hmm
I'm sure I watched ones before, and that's how I got into it. And then, as you grow up, yeah, I grew up with sort of Pierce Brosnan as my cinematic Bond,
Yeah.
Roger Moore as the one more frequently on the television, and that was it. I was hooked. I was in all the way. And then many years later, I decided for some reason to start a fan club.
Wow. What was it about Bond at that age that really drew you in?
I just thought he was so smooth, and it was it's so quintessentially British, and it's kind of like, you've got Captain America, you've got Batman, you've got Superman, even though he's not American, but he sort of is that all-American hero.
Yeah.
James Bond was what we had, and so the clothes were nice, the women were beautiful, the cars were sexy, the action was more than you think you should have been watching when you were 8 or 9 years old. So it was exciting. Um, I have much the same story for pretty much all little boys that watched it. It was just
Yeah.
bigger and better than anything that I could imagine, and it made you want to be a spy.
Yes.
We all probably did it. I know I did. I would go around every door corner like this,
Yeah.
and it was something cool. And many years later, coming to America and traveling around the world, whenever someone hears your accent, James Bond is only 3 or 4 subjects away in a conversation. So it's a great
True.
thing to have for
Yeah.
British people.
Yeah. I was similar. I've told Steve this, but I was at a thrift store with my family when I was 13 and they had a stack of the novels and my dad was like, "Well, I read these and I'm going to buy these for you." So he bought me like 5 and Casino Royale was the first one I read and that's what kind of and then I watched the movie. I'd read a book, I'd watch the film, I'd go back and forth. So that's kind of and it's
Mhm.
never stopped at that point. So so
Neil
it's
loves this story because
what
it's my origin story. But
oh
I
oh
was
yeah.
when Octopussy was out, that was such a naughty word in the house because the previews would come on TV, and I just wanted to see everything. I'd ask to see everything. It didn't matter. And one Saturday, my dad took me to the movies, and it was Octopussy. And when we were coming home, he's like, don't tell your mom. And of course, first thing out of my mouth is, "Oh my God, James Bond was amazing." And so yeah, that was. And I have such a sweet spot for that movie and everything about that movie. So when people are like, "Oh, I don't like Octopussy," I'm like, "What's the matter with
No,
you?"
Octopussy is super fun. I like Octopussy. So.
I love Octopussy. I love the opening. I love all of it. I think it's one of my favorite relationships with Bond and the leading lady. Because
Sure.
Maud Adams is
Yeah.
such a nice lady anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they seemed age appropriate as well.
Yeah.
That seemed to work. Not something that I really thought about when I was younger, but now I look
Yeah.
at it and I think, oh, that holds up. That movie really holds up. And the action, the sequences that John Glenn created were just superb.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And they really felt like equals. I remember as a kid thinking just how cool it was that Octopussy had this island and all these badass women that were acrobats and thieves, and so I just that was just so cool. Like that whole world just sucked me into it. I thought, I wish this was real. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot more
100%.
fun.
And I was also rooting for James Bond just to decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to be with Octopussy. We're going to just take over the whole criminal empire. That would have been unmatched. An alternate reality. That would have been fun to see.
That would be
Oh,
good.
that would have been good.
I always tell my dad always he appreciates that I love the books like him, but I always tell my dad that I feel like I mean, just the way that Fleming wrote him and the movies have expanded, he's about as real of a fictional character as you can get in terms of like just who he is, what he likes, his preferences, and all that. So I tell my dad, like, I like Sherlock Holmes, similar. It's like you can't never. He's not real, but he is in a lot of ways. And then I don't think there's ever
I
been
see. Yeah. What you mean.
a character as in depth like that. There's only a handful that I think of in pop culture. So
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Fleming did it in
it's
such a
definitely
simple
going to be
way
a
too.
character that
Go ahead.
in 300 years they'll still be talking about James Bond.
They will, and we'll be on like our
Absolutely.
50th
Just the way
James
we
Bond
talk
at
about Sherlock Holmes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the fan club and how that began and what was the impetus for that?
Yeah, well, a very dear friend of mine, Marcus Hartman, who's the president of the Swiss Club, we'd known each other for years, and I'd been going to his events on and off for about a decade. Always invited. I would always have fun. I'd be around, a few Bond celebrities and some locations and whatnot. And I always saw how happy people seemed to be at collectively being brought together to celebrate something.
Mm-hmm.
And jokingly, one night, Marcus and the French president, Luc Leclerc, they said, you should really do one in England. There isn't one. And Luc happened to be having a meeting with Barbara and Michael for an interview for the 60th anniversary. And he just said, why is there no British Club? Isn't it a shame? And Barbara said it was. And so Luke messaged me straight after and said, you must do it, my lord. You have the go ahead. So I emailed a 3-year plan to Eon and said, look, I'm thinking about starting this, but I don't want to be in trouble. It's your IP, it's your product. It's going to be not for profit. I'm only going to be involved if I can do it for charity. Mm-hmm. Do I have your go ahead? And, Eon was a relatively small family-run business in a way. It wasn't able to police and look after all these different fan clubs. So they basically said, we like your plan. This looks nice. You go ahead and do it. Don't cock it up, basically. So I made some business cards. I made a basic website. I went to a few events around the Sound of 007 concert at the Royal Albert Hall. I put together a lunch with notable people from the Bond world, David Zaritsky, other presidents, former presidents, and a few friends, notable Bond authors. And I just pitched it to them. I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is what it's going to be for. It's all going to be for charity, not for profit. I have many years experience in publishing a magazine, so I can make the magazine. That's fine. I have some spare time. It's going to be a lot. I'm going to bring a few selected people from the Bond community along with me on the journey, and they can act as board members. this is it. And, everybody was like, this is great. Let's go ahead. Because everybody wants you to take a risk with your own time and money, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I put it out there, and to cut a long story short there, it was well received. And by the end of the first year, we were the largest bond club in the world by paid membership, with something like 565 members. And we've remained the largest bond club by membership throughout that period. I had lots of contacts from many years of going to conventions and meals and whatnot with the Bond alumni. So I got them on board. I said, look, this is what I want to do. I called John Glenn. I said, it's about time you got a Lifetime Achievement Award. I said, I'm going to hire a battleship in London and give you a Lifetime Achievement Award. And he just went, okay, it's not the craziest idea he'd ever heard from me. And we put it together, and it was very scary initially, because for as many people that are with you, there's people against you. And for a lot of people, they didn't even know who I was in the community. I just came out of nowhere. They saw me as like Marcus's friend who'd been to some events, had something to drink, and insulted me. Maybe that was about it.
Wow.
But it was a wild ride, and the central point of raising money for charity, I think that brought a lot of people on board with us from behind the scenes in the bond world, in front of the camera, and the community in general. And I still can't believe that to this day we've now raised not that far off $100,000 for UNICEF.
Oh, wow, that's
which is
great.
a fantastic achievement. And it's not something I did all on my own. Everybody helped along the way. So I am very appreciative that it was well received, and that the mission and the goal was achieved.
Yeah.
And
when Neil and I started this, we were surprised, and the assumption was, well, it's LA. There's already a James Bond fan club. Somebody's already doing this. And were you surprised that there? I mean, when you just said before that there wasn't anything in England, that I was a little caught off guard, because it's England. It's James Bond. You would think that there's something out there. And
well, there had been a very, very large and successful club run for probably nearly 20 years in the glory days, when you could get Christopher Lee, Desmond Llewellyn, Lois Maxwell to literally turn up at Pinewood Studios to be part of a fan event. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
And they produced a wonderful magazine.
Oh, yeah.
And it was immensely successful. Now, everything comes to an end, and the person who ran that decided to move on eventually. And I guess there was a point where clubs weren't as important. Internet could connect people a bit more. So fan clubs kind of become let's just push that to one side. So there was that gap. And I guess it's very scary for anybody to come into that gap and trying to bring it back. And I tried to bring it back in a similar format, with a magazine, with a membership card, with events, with a newsletter. And there was a point where I thought, maybe this day is done, and maybe the internet gives the fans all the news that they need. So I made it about the club members rather than making it about Bond news. And I think that was a real key to the success. People could join the club and have their article featured. They could tell their story. They could be part of it. In the archive on the website now, you'll see hundreds of articles from members about their experiences, their trips. And I think that was the key to the success, because the internet is going to get the news way faster than you can today. So I made it about the members, which is not something that just came out of my own head. I looked at what the Swiss Club had done, and their magazine was chock full of members with happy, smiling faces going to a dinner. And so I thought, that is the key. That's how it will be successful and have some longevity, because people will feel invested and recognized.
Do you did the word get out quickly, or was it like a slow build, or how did you get the word out?
Well, I came up with the idea that for the first 30 days, in those last 30 days of 2022, I said, if you sign up for the club, all you pay is your postage for your membership card.
Oh wow.
You
Okay.
won't get a magazine the first year. You'll get a membership card, but you won't get a magazine, and we'll do a magazine the year after.
Mhm.
But if you join in those first 30 days, it's just the membership, the postage cost.
Mhm.
I think around 190 people joined within the first week on that basis.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
That's
Then
great.
when I opened it up to the full membership, yeah, I thought so. I was pretty happy. You know, David, I started an Instagram account. I didn't pay for any advertising. I just used the people that like David Zaritsky, who could amplify and be a megaphone for it,
Mhm.
which was great to start with, and then putting the membership to the full price as of January the 1st, I thought, right, we're going to see a drop off then, but we didn't. The word had got out. The event was I then put out the HMS Belfast event that was going to be happening in July, and you had to be a member to even have a chance of getting a ticket. And all of a sudden, I had over 400 members by the end of January, something like that. And I thought, oh, you know what? We can afford to do a magazine. So then I announced that there would indeed be a magazine in the first year, whether you paid full price or just the postage price initially. And then more members joined and more members. And it spread like wildfire. There was lots of people that were happy to support it by doing videos with me on Instagram. You know, even Luciana did her first Instagram live with me
Oh, wow.
to help promote it. You know, everybody, David Glover Jealous, it got me onto the Really 007 podcast. There was a breadth and depth of people that really want to see it succeed, and they spread the word. And I think that's one of the reasons I picked a diverse board to start with, so that it would appeal to all different parts of the community,
Mhm.
and they had some reach and some influence that I didn't necessarily have, and then it built from there. Don't get me wrong, there were people against it. There were definitely people working behind the scenes that didn't want it to happen, but
Wow.
they failed. So
Mm.
unfortunately for that, that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Okay. I won't ask you about that, but were the people you picked for the board, were they just people you met along the way in Bond fandom, or were they friends to begin with, or how did that work out?
Yeah. So I had met the person I picked to be my editor in chief was David Lobergellis from License to Queer. I had just recently met him at a Bond event, and I found him to be engaging and presentable, knowledgeable, and he could write. So I thought, well, there you go. There's the guy from my magazine. That'll do. Um, and Miles Winterburn, who became my vice president, again, I'd met him at a Bond event, and he was so passionate and knowledgeable, and most importantly, he trustworthy and supportive. And he immediately, before it even started talking about the board, said, "I'll give you whatever support I can in the background." And we'd had lots of conversations, and we became fast friends. And then that led to another person, and then another person. You know, David Zaritsky I had known because we'd been to the Bahamas together, and he said, "Well, you know, I'll support this," and he did. You know, he joined on the board, and it just built from there. There were people like the current president, Mark. I met him in an elevator.
Oh, really? Wow.
You know, and that's how that. Yeah, well, it was at an event where there was large steps to get into the establishment, and so they had directed him to go around the side of the building to where the lift would be for the accessible lift. And we'd not met, and I saw everybody piling in, and just Mark going on his own down this alley, and it was dark, and I just thought, oh, you know what? I can't be asked doing the stairs. I'm going to go with Mark. So we got in the lift together. We ended up having a great conversation, and then a week later, he was recommended to me as someone that could handle our YouTube and videos and things like that. And so I thought, oh, well, I just met him, and so it's funny how things build like that.
Yeah, it's a happy coincidence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems a lot of that happens in Bond. It's happened with us, it's happened with other folks. It's just if people stay open and positive and remember that this is really about community, all these amazing things just kind of fall into place. You just
100%.
kind of like
Yeah.
hang on for, for the ride.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, well, I remember in that first year, I met you, Steve.
Yeah.
You had joined the club, um, and then I came over and did just a small gathering of cocktails and canapes for UNICEF at the end of
Yeah.
the Hollywood show. And you attended there, and you got to meet Martine and Luciana and Carol, and you invited you for a drink afterwards. And so when you guys started your thing, I was like, "Oh, I know who that is. I
yeah, that's
already met him. Already spent time with him. Already had a martini with him.
Yeah.
Espresso martinis. I think we had. I think that was it.
Yeah. We had, I think there were Palomas were the main drink, and then we moved on to the
Yeah,
martinis, and it
yeah,
becomes a little blurry after
yeah, a
that.
little bit. Yeah,
Similar to you, like people like we had kind of, I guess, in fandom come from nowhere, and like Steve and I had similar. We didn't know each other, but we had a similar idea to like start something, and then we met online, and that's kind of how it began. And I think people were like, "Who are these guys?" But once they saw that our hearts were in the right place, and we had the screenings, and it grew and grew, people they were just happy for someone to take the mantle in Los Angeles of fandom.
absolutely. People always are.
Yeah,
And when we started hearing about it in the UK,
yeah.
it came up in one of our board meetings, and I
Oh,
said, "No, I know Steve. I've met Steve, so
oh.
I know who that is." So behind the scenes, for whatever it was worth, I'm not saying it did any good at all, but with a minimum of 50 people, I spoke nothing but good things about you and said, "Give them all the
Oh,
support you
Thank
can."
you. Thank you. That's
thank you,
great.
Phil. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no,
No
it's been
problem.
very helpful. Yeah, the people that we like Matthew Field was our moderator at one of at the Bill Conti night, and he was
Mm,
great,
Mhm.
and he said people are really saying positive things, so that made us happy. So yeah,
yeah.
but we also were influenced by you
Yeah,
guys because
you've done an
Yeah.
amazing job.
oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had, but we were influenced by what you had done and similar, like the other clubs, and we just wanted to bring like for us it was about the fans meeting up because I mean sometimes when you're into something
yeah,
you're sort of like not isolated, but you don't know everybody or you know a few people. Our very first meeting had like 8 people came at a restaurant, and
Yeah.
then so it's definitely grown since
yeah.
then. So
Yeah.
so
It's that I remember going back to our first event, and I thought, are people gonna are they gonna come? Is it gonna just be me? You know, is this is
yeah,
so I thought, okay, well, I'll have 3 Bond girls there with us, and I'll make it
yeah.
free to make it as appealing as possible. And if nobody turns up, I'm just having dinner with Bond girls, and we'll just deal with that. That's fine.
Well, that's fun too. Yeah, no, that's fun. You know. What has been the most successful event that you guys had so far?
I mean, the HMS Belfast
Mm.
sold out within sort of 48 hours
Oh
and
wow.
had a wait list similar size to the amount of tickets that were actually available. That was the most oversubscribed event
Wow.
we ever had. But
Nice.
the biggest in terms of scope and scale would have to be Operation Concord,
Mm.
when we gave Luciano Paluzzi and Vic Armstrong the Lifetime Achievement Award. That was the
Yeah.
culmination of all of the learning experiences we had along the way. It had We had 280 attendees with ticket prices ranging from 200 to 350.
Mm.
We had dinner under the Concorde. We
Wow.
had 11 vehicles from the movies. We'd had a video from Barbara and Michael.
Oh wow, you did. Wow.
We had we had a nice introduction video from the two of them, which congratulated Luciano and Vic and said they would send them a case of champagne.
Nice.
But in addition to that, they'd already sent to me through Carol Ashby some ST Dupont pens for them, beautiful gift bags.
Nice.
The eagle-eyed people said they definitely go to shining. I said, I didn't purposely do that. I wouldn't have done that. So that was our that and we had a huge charity auction. We raised over $20,000 in one night for UNICEF. That was, I think, the grandest scale Bond fan event that I can think of at all. Period. With all the different elements, we had 16 Bond stars there.
Wow.
We had a Master of Ceremonies. We had the Lord Mayor of the City of Manchester in
Wow.
attendance,
Wow.
Wow.
with a receiving line and
That's impressive.
security. It was very, very good. We had over 10,000 in sponsorship from corporations. We'd been given many things from all the different brands. And like I say, having sort of 280 attendees, we had all 4 presidents from the European clubs in attendance. It was huge. I don't think that anybody will be able to pull that off again. I think all the stars aligned, and I was willing to dip into my pocket if it went wrong, and it didn't.
That's
we
good.
made money for UNICEF and everything, but it was a huge event with, you know, so many moving parts. And then the flight on the way over, Luciana broke her ankle on the plane.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is all going to go wrong. But to her credit, she would not let anything stop her from being there. She went to the hospital. She was put in a cast, temporary cast. She was pumped up with morphine, and she made it. And she entertained everybody, and it was a fantastic night.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
So that was almost successful and most fun. She's brilliant.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Yeah, she came to our event, and man, she signed for everybody, and she couldn't have been more wonderful. So.
People were bringing her flowers. And it was so wonderful to see. She's been so good to us and so cool with us. You know, I mean, for us, all of us have grown up with her in Thunderball and other films too, and on television. It's a real treat, you know, to be able to just, you know, get an email from her every once in a while and something like that. It's just like,
yeah.
You turn into a little kid.
She's absolutely
wonderful.
Absolutely, she's fantastic. I mean, she's practically family to me. We do so much together. We had dinner with her the other night. She's, you know, and I had to pinch myself. She sat there holding my baby.
Wow.
Just like a grandma would, and it's just yeah. She's a really sweet woman. So elegant, so classy, and her husband Michael, he's a wonderful man as well. And they've been great supporters of the club, and we've had some real fun times together. You know, at my wedding, I danced with Fiona Volpe. When you think about it, to me, she's no longer that character in a way. She is just, you know, Luciana now. But to dance with her, to have her those parts, just a wonderful person. So when she reached out to me to say that she was going to be doing your event, I said, give them all the support and the love in the world.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Where do you, I mean, you're no longer the president, but where do you see the future of the club being at this point?
Sure. Well, as the founder of the club, I remain on the board, and I've been involved in every decision that's happened since I left.
Okay, that's good.
And that will go on as long as Mark wants me to be part of that process. You know, at the end of the day, I had to step down as president and to do service to the club, really, because living here, I wouldn't have been able to do the same job that I had done the previous years. And so I thought it best to have somebody who actually was present in England to be the president. And we talked about, you know, potentially me staying on as president, changing the vice president, someone who could then learn for the year and then step up. But I didn't think that would work either. And Mark kindly stepped up. Mark's very talented, very passionate. He understands the core of the club. He understands the mission with UNICEF. And thankfully, he's also one of my dearest friends. So we work very well together. You know, he was a groomsman at my wedding.
Oh, okay. There you
so
go.
Mark and I have a shorthand that serves the club very well. So I'm there as much as Mark needs me in the background. And for this year, I've given them all the support in the world. I mean, we're just finishing up my magazine, and because I used to own a magazine publishing company, magazine for them. Thankfully, I don't have to write it. I just have to make it look nice. The image is in the right place.
Well, that's convenient. Yeah, that's good.
So I see the club. I see the club continuing on. It's still the largest club by paid membership. I'm happy soon. So I think it will go on. The club. What I wanted to create was something that was bigger than me. And for the first couple of years, maybe even the whole time I was president, it wasn't bigger than me because I had to do so much.
Hmm.
There's no ego in what I'm saying there. It's
Yeah.
just the mechanic handing that off now and allowing it to grow beyond me allows it to grow out beyond Mark and the president after and the president after.
Yeah.
I founded it. Mark's going to continue it, and then the next person will continue it, and the next person. And I hope in 20 years' time it's still there.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful
And
legacy to
your
have.
imprint's still on there because you built it with such a strong positive foundation that as it continues to grow, you're still going to be there.
That's it. Unless a new president comes in and says, you know what, Phil, we don't want your ideas anymore. We don't want your context. Can you please leave? Here's the door, and they give me my pink P. In England, we call it a P45 when you're fired from job. They give me that, and I'm gone.
Well, hopefully not.
No, that won't
No,
happen.
yeah.
We always ask people this to switch gears. Where do you so Amazon is in charge of Bond now, and where do you what do you want from an upcoming Bond film? What would you love to see?
I would love to see. I don't want another origin story. I don't want
Yeah.
to see him at the start or the end. I just want to see him in the middle of his career. I
Yeah.
just want the action to open. He's on a mission. No explanation of who this new person, who new actor is. Just get on with it.
Yeah.
And I just want to see that. I want to see someone, I'd say 35 to 50,
Hmm.
probably geared more towards maybe 40 would be ideal,
Hmm.
who's going to commit to three films over 10 years.
Yeah.
And then just switch it out. Every 10 years, switch it out. Because if the actors are in it too long, they get too much power.
Hmm.
They can skew the way it goes. So just
Yeah.
sign 3 picture deals, 10 years, done. Pop one out every 3 years. There's enough. I mean, it's a spy. There's enough spy stories out there.
Yeah.
You could regurgitate, you could cherry pick from existing stuff. I don't want to see a period piece. I don't want to see it go back to the 60s.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
doesn't work in today's world from a branding point of view.
Sure.
No.
I just go for it. Just
Yeah.
go for
Yeah.
it. Just get someone British and go for it. Not too old, not too young. I don't mind if it's an unknown as long as they can act.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, true.
But yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with everything you just said. I mean, we Neil and I've had these conversations, and it's just do it. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's right there.
I mean, I love
It
the
worked
book.
for decades, before it was all the emotion, and you can still have all that stuff in there. But I think that I love the Craig movies. I love Craig as Bond. I miss the whimsy. I miss the cheekiness.
Mhm.
I miss that kind of exotic sense of fun. And maybe it's because the world is a much smaller place now, and everyone's able to travel a lot more than they did when the film started. But there's still so many wild places in the world. I mean, the video game was doing that.
Mhm.
I haven't played it yet, but I've seen clips in some of the locations, and I keep thinking, wow, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're just doing it. It's an origin story, but there's so many elements to it that are exciting and feel like when he's in Vietnam. I got these vibes of the Man with the Golden Gun because of those great islands and those great vistas, and I miss some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You can still have heart-wrenching moments in a film that has plenty of comedy and whimsy. In
Mhm.
fact, it heightens the brutality moments when there's other parts where Bond is sort of being a jerk or having a bit of a fun or a bit of a goofball with Q and whatnot. The reason these films were successful is because there was that connectivity of, oh, Q's going to be in this scene.
Mhm.
Oh, M's going to chew him out. Oh, Moneypenny is going to flirt with Moneypenny. All of those elements. So they started to come back. They were present in the Craig movies, but they didn't seem to fit quite the same. But
Yeah.
anyway.
I mean, I always think For Your Eyes Only is a great sequence when, we're used to Roger Moore being light and bubbly, and then he kicks the car over the cliff. And I felt that always just is such people are like shocked during that because they'd never seen him be that ruthless, but it worked because it just showed you a different level to who Bond was. And I think people had forgotten that He's
It was a
not
good
always
reminder
nice.
that,
He's not
oh,
always a nice guy.
yeah, like this guy kills people. That's his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if they were to go back and make a period piece, the only way that would work was do it as a television series.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
an Amazon Prime series. You could do it like that and have that run independently from the films.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that might cheapen it, make it feel a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the novels, and I love them. I read them still, but I don't know if you can adapt them fully as they were back then. Now, I don't know if everyone would be in love with everything that's in the books as well. They're just
Yeah.
they would be harder to do, but that's just my opinion.
And you wouldn't be able to have the brand partnerships. And
Yeah,
let's not forget that
No.
the brand partnerships make up a huge amount of the budget.
Sure.
And love it or hate it, love product placement or not, it does actually finance a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't get companies to invest if you're filming it in it's set in the 60s or the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be hard.
And
Yeah.
also doing period pieces, it seems that contemporary period pieces really reckon with modern social issues more than contemporary films. So if folks, want it to go back to the period piece to kind of stay away from things like that, I got bad news. There's going to be more of that, I think, in period pieces than contemporary pieces.
Either way, I mean, I'm just happy there's going to be another Bond film. So when Amazon took control, my first thought was like a little concerned, but my next thought was like, well, there'll be a new Bond film now, so at least something will be
Yeah.
moving on. So so that's good.
That's it. And if it's no good, there'll be another one that they'll make
Yeah.
good. They'll
Yeah.
get it right eventually. Everybody always does.
Yeah.
Eon didn't make all of those Bond movies, and they're all perfect. There's some stinkers in there. It just
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
But I highly suspect that this will be quite a good Bond film.
I think there's a lot
riding on
Yeah.
it.
A lot riding.
Yeah.
And
I hope they don't overbake it. I
Yeah.
hope that doesn't happen. I hope they don't panic and think, "Wow, we have to do so much to get this right," and overbake it.
Mhm.
But I suspect it'll be pretty good, but
Yeah.
maybe a little long because
Probably it's villain. Yeah.
director.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go along. He's gonna go for that. So
Hey, I'm on
But I'm
board
sure
with
it'll
anything
look
they want to
beautiful.
do as long as they put a
They will.
gun barrel at the beginning of the movie.
I'm
I
sure
just
they
want
will.
that gun barrel right at the top.
Yeah.
That's my main criticism with the Craig films. I love the Casino Royale gun barrel. That because when I first saw the movie, I went, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then they did that stylized one that went right into the song, and I thought, "Oh, that's so cool. That works. That works." But they didn't start doing them until Spectre at the top of the film. And I keep telling folks I'd watch Quantum of Solace a lot more often if it had a gun barrel at the beginning of the movie. Because that's it. Just when we show them in the theaters, I mean, you've seen it. That gun barrel hits,
That's great.
and the crowd goes nuts.
It sets the tone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the Daniel Craig movies didn't have enough Bond music in it. Didn't have enough of the theme in it.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Not all. I mean, obviously, the ones that David Arnold did were fine, but after that, it sort of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do like how Hans Zimmer kind of almost overcompensated in No Time to Die, where every few seconds it was the big Bond theme.
Yeah, no, it worked nicely in that. It's just we'll not talk about the ending. Just, I'm not. I don't even want to get into that. And that was the point I was making about actors having too much control if they stay too long.
Yeah, I think that's what we meant. Yeah. I mean,
and we don't want to repeat of that because then every actor who comes will create their own arc so that they feel satisfied artistically, and that's not what Cubby never let that happen.
Yeah,
and it should never have been let to happen.
Yeah.
It's not about the person. It's not about the actor.
Yeah.
I don't mind Roger negotiating for more money and Monte Cristo cigars. That's fine. But play him as he is or go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Roger had said to Cubby, You know what? I'm feeling old now in View to a Kill. I think at the end of this one, I'm going to fall off this Golden Gate
Yeah.
Bridge.
No, he would have said nope.
Yeah. Like, what are you, crazy?
Nobody would have entertained that at all. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we shall see. Amazon's been nice with us. They know what we do, and they've been very okay with it. So
Yeah.
we assume if there were problems,
Mhm.
they would have told us by now. So so they seem happy. So we like them. So yeah. So you know.
Yep. I have no doubt that they will pull something out of the bag here.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Well, Phil, I don't want to keep you. Thank you for speaking with us. It's been a really wonderful talk. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And we're going to see you next weekend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
no
gonna.
problem.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah. So you're gonna be at Gatherall then? I assume.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, is that not this weekend? Next weekend?
Yeah, it's next
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be really good. So Casino Royale is just about sold out for both screens
Yeah.
actually. So
Two
it's gonna
theaters. Yeah.
be a big night. So
Yeah, I'm not coming. I got a ticket for the event, but I'm not
okay,
coming
cool.
for the movie.
Oh, that's fine. No worries.
But it's one of those things with the
Yeah.
with the baby.
I
To think that
understand.
I sit in this theater for an extra 3 hours. I'd
I got
rather come in the afternoon,
Yeah.
go home, spend a bit of time with the baby,
Yeah.
and then come and
Yeah.
then back anyway. So it'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, no, it'll be perfect. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. We really appreciate it. So yeah, and
Yeah. We're looking forward to seeing you.
yeah, you're one of the fathers of Bond fandom. So
Good.
we appreciate that. So thanks a lot.
I appreciate that too. I love everything that you do, and I can't wait to see you guys in a week and a half.
Okay, man.
We'll raise it.
We're looking forward to it, Phil.
Sure
Thank you
will.
so much, my man.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Bye-bye.